two brothers, fruits of the same Abrahamic religion, Ishmael and Jacob, Islam and Christianity, separated by the mothers, the races. Right? So, both Hagar and Keturah, Hagar bore Ishmael, but Keturah bore 6 sons. So the two women who were native to the lands in which he was formed, he had one in the land of Canaan and one in the land of Egypt. So these women is how Abram inherited the lands, the black lands, through the woman, his union with the black woman. The first time came not necessarily from the will of Hagar. It was the will of her master, who was Sarah, the white woman. Right? So this would be equivalent to what Negroes would call a house nigga, you know, derogatory to me, but a house slave, right? And of course, there's Stockholm, there's cognitive dissonance, there's a lot of agents that keeps us bound under the spell of our masters. This is not to judge, this is to discuss what is written, the reality that is being kept from us because of its negative nature. But the reason why the serpent says knowledge of good and evil is to understand that there's a negative, there's a backward spell, right? This reason why evil is the word live spelled backwards. To live or to live backwards. Right? So there's a positive and negative. And when we see these words, because of the spelling, the cursive, we have a certain vibration. It causes a vibration, right? So we have a certain emotion based off the vibration. But it is what it is, right? If you see a lion eating a gazelle, it's a terrible sight, right? If you see in hyenas, right, you know, ripping apart a baby creature, it's a very negative scene. But at the end of the day, it's part of life. It's part of the cycle of life. It's part of nature. It's the reality. So you need to have a good grip on both the negatives and the positives. You can know that the water hole is there, but you gotta also know that there's crocodiles in the water, there's hyenas on the way, there's vipers, and there's also sea and land creatures that hunt, that are predators. And they all use sneaky tactics. This is the way of the predator. To be stealth, to be hidden, to beguile, to be cunning, to be precise, to be unpredictable, to be deceptive. To camouflage so that therefore it can exist in truth, hidden in plain sight. So Genesis is about the conquest of the Nile River Valley. by the rulers of the Redlands, or the Mesopotamia, which includes the Babylonians and the Assyrians, were connected by the Euphrates during the 2nd millennium BC. And Genesis 2, chapter 2, takes place during the age of the river agriculture, the culture based upon the flooding of the Nile River. Because unlike the north, where there's rain, in the south, agriculture is based off the river. Right? Now, we call it the river of Egypt now, but Egypt is a foreign word for the land of Kemet. So it really should be known as the river of Kemet to Cush, or even better, from Cush to Kemet, because it flows from the south to the north. Now, the Nile is a very thin river, where the west bank and the east bank are separated by a small, short ferry ride, right? You can build a watercraft and travel from one side to the other. All right? Now, the name Atum was taken from the Cushite or Kemetic deity of creation called Atum. He represented the evening sun, all right, the god of creation. All right? Now, there came a point in time where the god of creation, which we see the creation, man, great creations along the Nile, was overtaken by the gods of war, came down the river from the north. All right? And they formed the people into a labor class of people as if they were livestock. All right? Livestock in the Lord's garden. So Adam and Eve were reduced to livestock in the Lord's garden. This is the reason why Adam isn't given his name until after the Lord God formed the beast of the field, as opposed to God who created the beast of the earth in Genesis 1:25. So Genesis 2:19, Adam is given his name, and his name is used 6 times after the word formed is used for the 3rd time. This is all done on purpose. So the word created, the word made, and the word formed were all used in Genesis 2. But created and made are attributes of God. Right? It's spelled out in Genesis 2, I think 2 or 3. Right? Then the Lord God formed, which means to shape and configure, as to take a sheep from and make it into from a mouflon, or a dog from a wolf. These are domesticated creatures. Now, Atum isn't the first person named in the Bible. He's the second. He's actually the 3rd man. The first man named in the Bible is Havilah near Egypt, as you go towards Cush. Cush is the 2nd man, representing the descendants of the Nubian people, right? All right. And then the 3rd nation, Assyria, is a nation. So both Havilah and Cush, right? Havilah is the word used instead of Egypt. Because if it says Egypt to Cush, you know exactly where you are. Egypt, Cush, Assyria, kind of tells you that. It makes it clear. So to hide it, they use Havilah, because nobody really knows what Havilah is unless you read the descriptions, right? Which you learn at the end of Abraham's life in chapter 25 in regards to his sons and his wives, Keturah, right? Who were separated from Isaac, right? And they dwelt in the land of Havilah, which was east of Egypt as you go towards Assyria. Now, the Exodus is about the Lord overtaking the upper lands of Egypt, where he's expanding from Canaan down into Egypt. Right? And so he's going to separate the children of Israel, which are born from Ishmaelah and Hagar, right, from the Egyptians, who are the naturalized born citizens of the land. And then they're going to take these, which will be black Hebrews, and create a migration, a mass migration of the black Hebrews who are of Egyptian descent up into the land of Israel and unify there with the Assyrian or the sons of Sarah. And this obviously is the cause of a succession of wars over the land of Israel between the dark and the light. Between the brothers, separated by their mothers. Yeah. If we would just reduce it to the reality of our world, it's baby mama drama. Yeah. Baby mama drama.